My story can only happen in America, not anywhere else. I was not born with a silver spoon. I grew up in a middle-class family. I always had the desire and the drive and the discipline to willing to take a risk in becoming an entrepreneur and surround myself with the smartest people I can find to share my vision and values. I always believe that if you work hard, if you try to aim high, you will be successful.
You know, there are a lot of people that they climb up the ladder of success and they don't want to look back down. They pull the ladder up behind them. Frank Islam is somebody who climbed the ladder and wants to keep putting new ladders down so more people can climb up.
Frank wants to really give back. He honestly believes that's what he should do.
To whom much is given, much is expected. And that's one of Frank's favorite quotes. I know he believes that sincerely.
Frank is a very bright star from Azamgarh. He came to United States and he made money, and a lot of other people make money. But he was willing to reinvest in the community.
None is a greater servant of all humanity, of every people, every faith, every religion, every race, every ethnicity. None is a greater servant than Frank Islam.
America has been a haven for immigrants for nearly 400 years. These immigrants have built successful careers in the U.S. by working hard and seizing the immense opportunities the country provides to the newly arrived. A few of these immigrants who dare to dream and aim even higher have gone on to shape destinies and leave great legacies. Frank Islam's is one such story. From the dusty roads of Azamgarh to a wealthy neighborhood in Potomac, Maryland, Islam's journey is one that inspires people. Islam's journey has three distinct phases: the developing phase, the doing phase, and the giving back phase. His journey began in Azamgarh. Frank Islam was born in Kirigani, a remote village in the Azamgarh region in the state of Uttar Pradesh. The young Islam spent the first few years of his life in Kirigani.
The area was quite remote. It was inaccessible from any of the road.
The family in Azamgarh from my father's side were very well to do. Father didn't get that education. He was only up to high school. Somehow or the other he dropped out.
Islam attended a village school.
There was no table and chair, so you sit on the floor and one teacher teaches everything.
After he completed elementary school, Islam's family moved to the ancient town of Varanasi. That enabled him to enroll in a good school. Then tragedy befell the family when Islam's father was struck by lightning. From early on, Islam knew that he was to write not only his own destiny, but that of the whole family, and look after his mother and ailing father.
My father felt very strongly that in order for us to be successful, the key ingredient is education. He believed that education is the gift that keeps on giving. Education will be the powerful equalizer to get people like my family out of the poverty.
After high school, Islam moved to Aligarh Muslim University, one of the oldest educational institutions in modern India. This was a pivot point in his life. Aligarh played a great role in shaping the person Islam was to become.
When he went from Banaras to Aligarh, he was always driven that he's going to Aligarh.
They say, there is a saying that, people come to Aligarh and they leave Aligarh, but Aligarh never leaves them.
Aligarh provided me with an excellent education. It put the basic building blocks in place for success on their journey. More importantly, it instilled the core values that I've adhered to throughout my adult life.
While at Aligarh, in 1969, Islam met a visiting University of Colorado mathematician, Wolfgang Thron, who invited him to apply at his university. He did and was accepted. But the family was too poor to buy him an airplane ticket, so they were forced to sell a large piece of their property. Islam's departure for the United States was bittersweet.
My mother, with her faint smile, wiped the tears from my father's eye and said to my father, "He will have a more opportunity than we ever have in our life."
Islam arrived in Boulder in 1969. Campus was a brave new world.
Boulder is breathtaking. It's out in the foothills of the Rocky Mountain.
There were very few students from India and South Asia enrolled there at the time.
Boulder in those days was very welcoming. In the late 60s and 70s was very welcoming for foreign students, and foreign students were kind of liked by the general population. Most of the environments were academic environments.
At the University of Colorado, I didn't feel foreigner. I always felt that I belonged there.
He was a hard-working, hard student, So I think his main, what I can recall is his main focus was on studies, number one.
After earning his bachelor's and master's in computer science from University of Colorado, Islam moved north to Canada.
I went to Canada from Colorado to do my PhD at McMaster University in Ontario, which is located in Canada.
Soon he would leave the university for a job at an information technology firm. It was there that he met his future wife, Debbie Dreisman.
When we met, we were both just relatively low-level programmers, and he was easy to talk to. For a while, a group of us would get together and chat when we didn't have anything pressing to do, and after a while, he and I seemed to be the last ones talking.
We both have had a passion of computer science, and she has taught me a lot of things. She taught me about the assembly programming. She knew more about programming than I did.
In 1977, the couple moved from Canada to Pittsburgh, where both found jobs. They would then get married. In 1982, Islam and Dreisman moved to the Washington, D.C. area to work for Computer Science Corporation, a large government contractor. Islam moved to Raytheon, another major government contractor, in 1988. It is at this job as a program manager that Islam began nurturing the dream of owning a business. That opportunity came in 1994 when a minority-owned business, QSS, was on sale. Islam bought the firm for $40,000. Having completed the developing phase of Islam's journey, he was prepared to start the next phase of the journey, the doing phase.
University of Colorado provided me the building block to become an entrepreneur. After I got the education, I have to work for a couple of IT companies that gave me the real work grounding.
Despite the preparations, life as an entrepreneur was not easy, especially not in the first 2 years.
First 2 years were a struggle, sacrifice. We mortgaged our house. As a matter of fact, we took the second mortgage in our house to get the money from Rick's National Bank, which is no longer in business. I had no conference room, even a table to sit on. It was a difficult part of my life.
It was probably a year and a half before he took a full salary.
He was really putting it on the average maybe 14 to 16 hours a day. Every ounce of energy he had to put into invest in his business.
But I always believed that if I continue on this path of working hard and surround myself with the good people, I always believed that they will all work out. We got our first contract, we got second contract and then we built the company.
QSS secured a number of contracts from large government departments and agencies, such as the Pentagon and NASA.
In 1994, I did about $200,000 for the first year. In 1995, I did about $2 million. In 1996, I believe, I remember correctly, that I did 27. And the year 2002, we surpassed about $175 million in terms of the revenue. And I worked very, very hard to make sure that I can meet the payroll, make sure I can pay the employees, make sure the business prospers and grows. I was surrounded by a very talented team of management who share my vision and my values.
He was passionate about what they were doing. He really liked the business that he was in. The second thing, he was committed to it. He spent a lot of time on it. He was focused on what was necessary to make it work. and he worked hard at achieving it.
Ed Krigo is a friend who has co-authored 2 books with Islam and writes a joint blog with him.
Their motto was a passion for perfection. And what he saw was a number of the service firms did not do that. So their point of differentiation was to do it right the first time and to ask the customer what they wanted. And that was in counterpoint to some firms that were service firms that were not top blue chip.
Frank was good at paying attention to what's going on, staying involved and knowing what was going on, but listening to the people he had brought in around him, considering what they had to say, and in the situations where he thought they were right or thought they were going in the right direction, he'd encourage them to continue doing that.
Frank says this with his management team at the QSS Group, was that it was not me, it was we.
By 2005, QSS was in excellent financial shape, with revenue of more than $300 million. But after running the company for 13 years, Islam was ready to move on.
I was ready for the next challenges, and I decided that I needed to concentrate more into the philanthropic activities and helping others rather than continue earning money.
He and I worked together to frame how we would sell the company, how would we pitch it to other companies, and the reality is, when you have a solid company with solid people that has performed well, I won't say the company sells itself, but it's very easy to talk to potential acquirers and explain what we've done and generate interest in the company.
In 2006, the group was sold to Perot Systems, the business headed by billionaire Ross Perot, who had mounted a spirited third-party presidential run in 1992.
He gave me the offer that I couldn't refuse.
One of the first things Islam did was distributing a good chunk of the money to the men and women who helped him make the company hugely successful. Roughly $40 million was given to nearly 5 executives. Even after these disbursements, Islam was left with significant wealth.
That investment of $45,000, I have to mortgage my house, it returned exponentially, the return on the investment was. I tell you what, there are a lot of people who work very hard and aim high, and they still cannot achieve the success. So I'm blessed, I'm uniquely blessed that the God has been good to all of us, to my family and to me.
The sale of QSS marked the end of the doing phase in Islam's journey and signaled the beginning of the giving back phase. He and Dreisman set up a foundation to channel their philanthropic work. He also started to play an active role in the civic and political life of the community and the country.
By selling the company, it gave us the financial independence. The idea is really to share, to give back to our country and the community that has been good to us. And also, the most important thing that I wanted to do is civic engagement and political engagement. Remember this, we can all enjoy Florida, Bahamas, and Bermudas if we have the money and the wealth. But what good money and wealth is when you have not invested in others.
The idea was always that if we do well, others should do well. And if you come into a lot of money, prominence, that you should spend that money and prominence in helping others. You have to give back.
Rich to me means making a meaningful and positive impact, influence on people's life and made a difference.
Over the past decade, Islam and Dreisman have given to various causes in the United States and India through the Frank Islam and Debbie Dreisman Foundation. The primary areas of focus for the foundation include education, art and culture, and peace and conflict resolution. One of the recipients of Islam and Dreisman's largesse are the U.S. Institute of Peace, to which they gave approximately $1 million.
Frank and Debbie have been members of our International Advisory Council for more than 7 years. They've been wonderful supporters, dedicated and enthusiastic.
Among the other beneficiaries are the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, Brookings Institution, Montgomery College, and Marymount University. The couple's philanthropic efforts have not been limited to the United States. In 2016, they gave $2 million for the construction of the Frank and Debbie Islam Management Complex at Aligarh Muslim University, Islam's alma mater. The donation to Aligarh was important to Islam for 2 reasons: his emotional connection to his alma mater and his intense faith in the uplifting ability of education.
As I look at you, I see me in you. I know there are other Frank Islam in this graduating class today.
In order for us to create the next generation, they must get good education, and so that they can go out and help and support others, and that will make my investment sustainable.
My entire family went to Aligarh Muslim University. We owe to Aligarh. There is no doubt about this. We are here because of Aligarh Muslim University.
You start with your family, and then you work with your business, and then you work with a broader society, so you just bring that circle out and bring that circle out, and he's applying the same kinds of principles.
Besides philanthropy, Islam is also active in promoting political and civic engagement. He has positioned himself as a thought leader through his writing and speeches, co-authoring 2 books and writing columns for a number of publications. In the past decade, he and his wife Debbie have also given generously to political candidates.
We should all be involved in politics because the policy that is made by the politicians affects our life. It gives you the voice, and also it gives you a seat on the table.
His aim in politics is to have a seat at the table. But he's got a lot of important things that he thinks need to be at least considered. And by engaging in politics, he wants to be sure that some of the ideas out there get a proper airing.
At the Democratic Convention in Charlotte, I'm joined by Frank Islam of Washington, D.C., a prominent Indian American.
Frank has really proven himself to be a strong force within the Democratic Party.
Person has accomplished a lot of things. When he inherited a very bad economy, the worst economy.
He contributes lots of ideas to the debate, and because he was a successful entrepreneur, and he's a successful entrepreneur as a recent immigrant to the United States, he really can speak from the heart about what this country has to offer, and also speak about how it's so important to provide those opportunities to other people.
All of us have done very well, and all of us should invest in others by giving them letters of opportunity to succeed.
Even though he is a Democrat, Islam has also supported candidates on the Republican side as well.
Frank Islam is somebody who understands that we're all stronger when we find ways to work together. We may have differences of opinion on one issue or another, but we need to look for common ground and practical solutions.
Islam and Dreisman's civic engagement include serving on the boards of several prominent educational and cultural institutions. 2 of the topics close to Islam's heart are bringing the United States and India closer, and his commitment to Muslim issues.
I am an American and I love my country, but I also love India. And America is an adopted country, and India is the country where I was born.
In January 2015, when President Obama visited India as a guest of honor at India's Republic Day celebration, Islam was part of the U.S. business delegation that accompanied the president.
It's important for 2 countries to have a bilateral relationship, especially that the values that India has and America has, which is the democracy, diversity, equal opportunity that binds the 2 countries together.
He wants Muslim youth to have that higher education, because then they can make a journey similar to the kind of journey he's made, and they can make kind of investments that he makes.
I think that he sees a particular role for himself to better explain the religion, provide that contact with very key leaders so that they would be in a better position to talk about his vision about this country and about the religion that he is so proud of, and how that connects to much of what he's doing in his community.
It's been several years since Islam sold QSS and began his philanthropic efforts. But his life is still a work in progress, a journey in which there will be more milestones. As a lifelong learner and a constant advocate for making a difference, he doesn't know all of the next steps or causes with which he will be involved. He does know that the journey will always be from Azamgarh to Aligarh to America and back again. It will always entail going back and giving back to his native land to make more dreams come true there. It's been said that you can't go home again. Islam knows that is not true. The truth is you never leave home. Your home is your home in your mind, in your heart, and in your soul. Frank knows that, and because of that, the dreams go on.
Let us together change the face of Azamgarh, one family at a time, one village at a time, and one individual at a time. My legacy, I would hope people remember me, that I inspired others because I have made a meaningful and positive impact in people's lives and made a difference in people's lives. My legacy will be that I've created many more Frank Islam who can follow my footsteps to become an entrepreneur, willing to take a risk and become a business owner and serve our country and give back to our country.